We are following the latest on the federal workers' fallout. We know it's having a massive impact on families here in the DMV. Multiple judges have ordered the Trump administration to temporarily reinstate thousands of federal employees terminated in recent weeks. To talk about the legalities surrounding workers getting their jobs back and any risks that might come along with that is Washington, D.C. employment attorney Alan Lescht of Alan Lescht and Associates. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so for workers who were fired, give me an idea here. Are they automatically entitled to reinstatement, or do they need to take some kind of action to get their job back?
Yeah, right now, unfortunately, it's a wait and see, because what we have are two decisions, one in California, one in Maryland, from federal district court judges putting a freeze on the firing of the probationary employees and ordering reinstatement. The problem, of course, is that when you're in litigation, the way our system works is that the district court judge can enter a decision, and then it's subject to appeal. So, we fully expect that the Trump administration will appeal both decisions. And in the case of the California judge, it'll go to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. In the case of the local Maryland judge, this is Judge Berdar in Baltimore, they'll go to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Okay.
Question. So it's unclear what will happen because the agencies have not called people back. Judge Berdar's decision was very clear that they need to be reinstated. We suspect that they'll go to the appeals court and try to put a stay on that while the case is decided. And it'll be up to the appeals court to make that decision.
Okay, I wanted to ask you this. So if the Trump administration, does successfully appeals this ruling, could these workers in essence be fired all over again?
Yes, this is one of the parts of the decision that is not getting a lot of publicity, is that both judges have noted that the problem here is the way that the Trump administration has gone about it. The mass firing of probationary employees without any individualized assessment. But in both decisions, the judges note that the federal rules permit for reductions in force, and they're known as RIFs. And so it's possible that the Trump administration may just change course here, and instead of firing people the way that they did, is follow the reduction in force rules. Now, I'll point out that one of the likely reasons I will say that they didn't do that is it's very difficult for the agency to conduct a lawful reduction in force. The OPM has rules governing how RIFs are supposed to be conducted. And they're very different from the private sector. Like we read about tech companies laying off, percentages of their people and reductions in force. Mm-hmm. They're not subject to the OPM regulations.
I'm sorry, we're running out of time. I want to get a quick question in here because we got people watching who have lost their jobs, right? And they need some practical, immediate advice. So let's say if you and I were having coffee and I was just fired and I came to you and I said, hey, am I going to be reinstated? Should I be calling my job? What advice would you give to me?
Yeah, I will tell you that you should not feel hopeless or helpless, right? Because they've done a good job of trying to make federal employees feel that way. There are ways to fight back. Lawyers like my firm are filing lawsuits as soon as we can because you have rights as federal employees. We can file claims with the Merit System Protection Board. It's critical that federal employees that are receiving these notices, either a proposed removal or RIFs, that they act quickly, because in most cases you have to file within 30 days of the effective date of your removal.
Okay.
And because justice moves slowly, we're now finally seeing judges who are looking at this and pumping the brakes on the Trump administration and saying not so fast, that you need to look at each case on its own. And so for federal employees, I'm telling you, you have many, many rights. Don't feel hopeless and don't feel helpless. There are ways to fight these actions, and you just need to call a lawyer like me or go on the internet and search, and you'll see that there are things that can be done. Because while Trump this is like uncharted territory, law firms have been litigating on behalf of federal employees for years at the Merit System Protection Board. We've handled thousands of cases there. So this is not new to us. It's not new to lawyers like myself. Mm-hmm. And so there are plenty of things that are available to be done. And last, I'll just leave you with this, is anyone who's subject to a RIF notice know that the OPM regulations provide for severance, and you're entitled to keep that severance while you appeal the very removal that is in the RIF notice.
Okay, so your point, I hear you saying, don't lose hope, keep your options open, document everything as you go. I'm looking at notes that say, could people claim compensation for emotional distress, loss of benefits, career damage caused by that termination? I know those are questions that people can bring to you. So Washington, D.C. employment attorney Alan Lescht, we appreciate your time and your insight, especially as people are just trying to figure out their next steps. Thank you.